Dogecoin, and the crypto market saw some decent gains today, and there was one big reason behind it. Let's talk about it. But first, let's look at some incredible news for Dogecoin. So it says here that Dogecoin was recently used to purchase NFT worth $600,000. The founding chairman of MyDoge, which is a self-custodial Dogecoin wallet, has purchased 25 Fire Tier editions of BIG3's Aliens through Dogecoin for $600K, marking the largest commercial transaction in history for Doge. If you don't know, the Big Three professional basketball league was formed by rapper Ice Cube, and Big Three opted to sell the team's rights by leveraging non-fungible tokens. As a result of the NFT purchase, Lee's ownership rights will lead to Dogecoin adoption by Big Three, leading to the integration of the MyDoge wallet so that players, coaches, and teams can receive Dogecoin tips on Twitter with just a tweet. In addition, they will feature MyDoge Dogecoin prominently on team jerseys, events, and broadcasts. And another great news for Doge was that the Green Guys, a California-based CBD brand, has become the first CBD company to accept Dogecoin. And yet another exchange has just listed Doge on their platform. Dogecoin has been added to Bitso, which is Mexico's most popular crypto exchange. Also, Dogecoin was mentioned in Santiment's strong and oversold list, which is again a really good sign. But then there's a really bearish move made by thousands of Doge holders that reflects the current market sentiment. Before I talk more about it, let's talk about why we saw some good gains today. Almost all the cryptos in the top 10 came back in the green after the Federal Reserve raised rates by half a point, which is the biggest hike in about 20 years. The half-point hike was widely expected by a lot of people, and its surge accelerated after Fed Chair ruled out the possibility of a 75 basis point increase. He said that a 75 basis point increase is not something that the committee is actively considering. I think expectations are that we'll start to see inflation, flattening out. Along with Bitcoin, the S&P 500 and Nasdaq also gained around 3% each. Now let's see some important data for cryptos. Popular crypto analyst Benjamin Cowen said that one simple indicator with a history of calling Bitcoin bottoms is close to doing so again. Basically, he took a look at the 20-week and 100-week simple moving average combo on Bitcoin. With both SMA close to converging, Cowen points out that they've only ever crossed twice in Bitcoin history, both times marking the bottom of a BTC correction. While he said that the crossing of these two moving averages has always marked the bottom, it can also coincide with a further downward capitulation, which he has warned of before. Should the moving averages cross, he says that it would probably happen sometime late next month or early July. Another important report we need to talk about is the CoinShares Digital Asset Fund Flows Report. According to it, crypto investment products saw outflows last week totaling $120 million. This just means that the market sentiment is incredibly negative right now. The report also said that digital asset investment products saw outflows totaling $120 million, bringing total outflows in this 4-week run to $339 million. This doesn't reflect the same bearishness seen at the beginning of this year, although it is close to the $467 million outflow witnessed at the beginning of this year. And then the report also said that Bitcoin accounted for a significant share of the outflows and witnessed its biggest drop in 11 months. Now this could mean that institutions are dropping out of the market, but this could also mean that these institutions are choosing to invest directly in Bitcoin instead of an investment product. And another prediction and report came from Bloomberg. The senior Bloomberg intelligence analyst Mike McGlone said that Solana is outpacing other so-called Ethereum killers, which should result in Solana securing its spot in the top 5 crypto assets by market cap. McGlone then also made a massive prediction for Bitcoin. According to him, volatility metrics are suggesting that Bitcoin could rally and then stabilize at a value 100x the price of an ounce of gold, which is currently about $180,000. And that is a monumental figure. And I think it's possible because another metric for Bitcoin is showing a really positive sign. So Bitcoin's hash rate has once again reached an all-time high this year, as the network's processing power reached 275.01 exahash per second. Also, Bitcoin's mining difficulty tapped an ATH at 29.79 trillion, and it's currently the most difficult it has ever been to find a BTC block reward. On April 27, after coasting along at 28.2 trillion for 2 weeks prior, the network's difficulty jumped 5.56% higher. This is good news because, as I discussed on this channel numerous times, there's a correlation between Bitcoin hash rate and its price. Coming back to Bloomberg, the report also said that institutional involvement and declining volatility in Bitcoin versus traditional risk assets seem to show a clear divergence in favor of Bitcoin. The report further illustrated Bitcoin's divergence as a standard risk asset by comparing it to the year-to-date numbers to May 3 for the Nasdaq 100 stock index. To that point, the Nasdaq 100 suffered a minus 20% downturn, while Bitcoin only dipped minus 15%. Bloomberg Intelligence contends this represents Bitcoin becoming a risk-off asset. Coming back to adoption, let's look at some great news for Binance. So France's markets regulator, AMF, has registered Binance France as a digital asset service provider. The registration means France is the first major European country to explicitly allow Binance to operate within its jurisdiction. Moreover, Binance becomes the first major cryptocurrency exchange to be licensed as a DAST within France. https://news tadek.com/news/ South Korea's president-elect announces zero tax on crypto until consumer protection is ensured / Another good news came from South Korea. So its newly elected president announced that he would try to delay taxation concerning crypto investment gains until the Digital Asset Basic Act comes into force. If you don't know, DABA is an upcoming new set of regulations aimed at consumer welfare in the crypto space. Moving on, another good news came from Singapore. Mason Akoki, an 80-seat restaurant in the heart of Singapore, is one of a number of restaurants to accept cryptos as payment for its services. Visitors to the restaurants are greeted with a sign that informs them that Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Binance Coin are accepted. The restaurant CEO said that the introduction of cryptocurrency has been a serious boost to his business. Leslie says that crypto attracts the right sort of crowd, and as the effects of the pandemic are waning, staff of hedge funds and centralized exchanges make up the core of the customers. Now let's talk about the big players. Liechtenstein's LGT Bank, which is part of LGT Group and is the largest family-owned private banking and asset management group in the world, has announced that it is now offering direct investments in cryptos. They also said that LGT is also seeing demand from relationship managers to expand the offering to Singapore and other locations. For instance, they have a representative office in the UAE and Dubai, so they also want to bring those locations into the play. Now let's talk about the number one thing that could cause a price reversal this year. That is the crypto ETF. So last month, the US SEC gave the green light to fund firm Ethereum to issue a Bitcoin futures exchange-traded product. And this made Grayscale's people very angry because the SEC didn't accept their ETF proposal. And so Grayscale recently threatened to sue the SEC over the issue. Now I think this sort of pressure is bound to make the SEC commissioner tilt towards accepting a crypto ETF. Coming back to adoption, Bentley University has said that it now accepts cryptos for tuition payments. Bentley will accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USD Coin. In addition to Bentley University in Massachusetts, King's College in Pennsylvania accepts Bitcoin as well. Now let's talk about Elon and Tesla for a minute. So Tesla Inc. maintained its pro-Bitcoin stance in a recent SEC filing, claiming Bitcoin has long-term potential and is a liquid alternative to cash. They also said that, "We believe in the long-term potential of digital assets both as an investment and also as a liquid alternative to cash. We may increase or decrease our holdings of digital assets at any time based on the needs of the business and on our view of market and environmental conditions." Now, according to the document, Tesla has not sold any of its Bitcoin holdings since the previous quarter. According to the document, the fair market value of its digital asset holdings as of March 31, 2022 is $1.96 billion. The quarterly report also said that, as with any investment and consistent with how we manage fiat-based cash and cash equivalent accounts, we may increase or decrease our holdings of digital assets at any time based on the needs of the business and our view of market and environmental conditions. So there you have it. Elon is open to buying more Dogecoin. Moving on, another big thing happened for Doge today. Over the past 24 hours, over 500 million Dogecoin were transferred between anonymous whales and the Robinhood investment app. In total, 792 million Doge have been sent. And the fees charged for these transactions were so tiny that no bank in the world could offer them. But now let's move on to some bad news. So 40,000 more Doge holders have left the market. And this happened over a period of 10 days, following the news that Dogecoin had lost over 700,000 investors. Now this is the best example of FUD. A massive sell-off leads to fear, which leads to another sell-off. And I think this is the wrong way to approach cryptos. This is because cryptos like Doge, which have Elon's support and many more things going for it, will eventually rise again.